Needs to be blue, doesn't it? A blue right now. $6 we'll enter into our special call council meeting. So it is 5:30 now. It's start time. Since this is a work session, we will go ahead and get into it. Under no uncertain order, we'd like to go ahead and call our first candidate. Who needs to go in?
Frank, would you go in there in the waiting area?
I'll go.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm hearing a lot of feedback.
It's pretty strong.
Yes,
It doesn't matter.
doesn't matter. Yeah. Okay.
Testing.
Test,
Still getting an
just
echo, I
a
think.
little bit. Yeah,
Slight echo.
slightly.
Good evening. How are you doing tonight? Very well, very well. Thank you for joining us. I know this is a timed event for you and everything like that. We have one gentleman that is absent, so we're gonna leave that time, I guess, back to you. In a period, each candidate a council person, and then perfect.
Okay.
It's all yours.
Jefferson County Commission. Pardon me.
Sorry, your name again?
Nicole.
Terry, okay.
Can you guys hear me?
I can.
Okay, all right. Well, I live in town, Alabama. I've unemployed for a little while. I got into the prior to that being I was going to get that came about Jefferson County Commission. I'm sorry, their finance. So I have been there with them. I work heavily under the CFO. I'm working mainly with. I get in for county. I handle the deposits. Not married, no kids. But just like I said, just me, just coming through. I used to be a Medicare for 13 years because they all the different.
Is there anything else you would like to tell us about you?
I mean, I'm an open book pretty much. You guys have anything to ask me?
Perfect. We'll go ahead and Councilwoman Cuellar, where's yours for two?
Okay. One of the things we discussed, Ms. Terry, was the treasurers being the CFO and the fact that they work with bond payments because the city does have some debt, and also in preparing our city's annual budget. Can you talk to me a little bit about your experience in calculating and or taking care of bond payments for Jefferson County?
I take care of actual. I do the recommendation on payment actual. I would look at a principal actually get man, and while he was help him reconcile those.
Okay. And how about the budgeting process? Are you involved in any of the budgeting process for Jefferson County?
Ma'am, we have a department. They normally our journal. They are actual on the journal. That side of
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Terry. I'll go ahead and defer to Councilman Box.
Well, hi, Miss Terry. How are you?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
We appreciate you coming out tonight.
Thank you
I'm
for
doing
having
well. You had said that you work in the AR department? Okay. And what all type of receivables do fall under your domain there?
Kind of all of them.
So just general accounting stuff, or do you specifically handle tax collections or?
Tax collection has, they have their own collecting. What I would do is I would enter out different customers. They would send payments. I receive payments from regards to taxes. I also do tax collection. Get out the road tax with Irondale. Other ones will be just those various odd and end checks that come tax collection. Most of them are state of Alabama. They're also coming that are out on the.
Very good. Do you deal with any delinquent accounts or collecting any of those as part of your?
I actually did. Before I got there, process of changing over, and the community didn't understand at that particular how our people that owed us money. So what I did was I kind of myself. I came up with the agent report, and based on that agent report, out to those that are days prior to the date. So if they were in April now, decided it's January, has legal January back in 2000, or the software in 2015. We'll send them the actual. We'll also reach out to them in the email. My name is attached to the email. They could contact me in those emails. They're actually handling those where they.
Okay, very good. So then you're very well versed, I would take it then as well in just clerical principles, being able to administer things, disseminate information to the council or to department heads as directed by the mayor, different things like that. Operating programs. What all operating programs are?
Publisher, Word, let's use all of them. My main one, I use it most because I'm mostly spreadsheet, different areas. I need to get department heads. I would send a spreadsheet to them and kind of tell them this is what I need. We mostly use it most of the time.
Very good. Okay. Thank you so much. I don't think I have any more questions, Council President.
All right, thank you. Ms. Perry. Terry.
Yes.
Terry. I had to think about that. Once I said Terry, I said Perry. Okay. Terry. I'm sorry. Thank you for coming tonight.
Thank you.
You know, we all have strengths and weaknesses. So in our jobs that we currently perform, but what do you consider one of your biggest weaknesses if you were chosen as the Irondale City Clerk?
I don't really have a resolution. Resolution, I do read them because I do have to do an invoice accounts payable. I have to make sure that resolution has been signed and is in the prior to me. Like with the city of Irondale, when they receive that tax, that business, I have to keep their information there. I also have to include that resolution, let them know that this is okay for us to pay this because this is money. For my weakness, that would be the one I really. I'm a learner, so
Right.
I'm very, very teachable. If I get started on it, I don't have a problem with it.
Thank you.
Question I have, how did you negative? You were right. The other had to find company.
I have to meet. Yeah, not necessarily. It's not the time. Get together. My point. That person. If they're right, I don't have a problem with it. Hey, sorry, I maybe read that wrong. I misinterpreted. It's fine, it's not, but we didn't have didn't like each other, didn't talk to each other. So you may not get along, you still have to work, to make one.
Last follow-up question. Remove.
I don't have any, thank you.
No questions. Thanks again for coming.
I want to thank you again, Ms. Terry, for being here.
Thank
It's
you,
been a
thank you.
delight to meet you in person.
Thank you. It's mutual. Like I said, I hear names, but don't know who they are, but it's great to put a face with everyone now. So I really appreciate you having me here today.
I hope it's good when you hear those names.
It is. Look, I promise you,
Just as long as you stay off Facebook, when you pull up the city of Irondale, you'll be okay.
I promise you, I won't look up any one of y'all on Facebook.
I'm just kidding.
Well, thank you
Thank
very
you.
much for your time, Ms. Terry.
Okay.
And I believe you, Frank will see you
Okay.
out and
All right.
everything. Have a lovely evening, and
Okay.
once again,
All right, thank you, and you guys have a lovely evening as well.
Same to you.
Bye-bye.
But you kind of did my, so,
Mhm.
yeah.
So
Did
did
my
I.
due diligence, so,
this is.
right, right.
Good evening, how are you doing tonight?
Good, how are you?
Perfect, and what's your name?
Name's Lou Jackson.
Thank you very much for this is a 30-minute meeting with 3 candidates, running 10 minutes to each. 4 of us, person panel, now we're missing. So, do is talk about yourself. Have 2 minutes. I've asked you to have your information in front of us, please.
Again, my name is Lou Jackson, and I'm a resident of Birmingham. I grew up in Birmingham and went to school to Age Parker High School. There I was involved in the SECME program, which was science and engineering, also future business leadership. And from there I went to college. I pursued a degree in history as well as accounting, and started on a master's. And from there I've been working in banking, auditing, and government.
All right, Councilwoman Cuellar?
Yes, Ms. Jackson, you're currently working for the city of Auburn, and one of the questions that I noted in our discussion is that our treasurer, when you're filling the role of both city clerk and treasurer, the treasurer is the most important person within this municipality because they are our chief financial officer. And so what can you tell me about your experience in calculating and or taking care of bond payments of a municipality? Do you have experience in that? And if so, can you please explain?
Yes, so I do calculate and make the general ledger entries for our bond payments. Our bond payments are made according to an amortization schedule that was figured when the bond was originally issued. And so each month that we do make those payments, I apply the payments according to the amortization schedule. And then at the end of the year, I reconcile our GL accounts to that amortization schedule to make sure that the totals match.
Very good. Do you have experience in preparing a municipality's annual budget?
I do have experience in working on the sales tax and business license portion of the annual budget. Of course, I do monthly calculations as far as sales tax revenue and business license revenue, and also quarterly, and we send those projections to the revenue manager and the finance director, and so those numbers are used in preparing any variances and any reports that are used to prepare the annual budget and the comprehensive annual report.
All right, one last question. Based on your experience, what is the most challenging task for you when dealing with the public? And how do you approach these challenges?
So the most challenging task is just providing the right answer to the question. A lot of our taxpayers and citizens come in wanting a simple answer, and we do have to find out what the complete picture is before we can answer them and provide assistance. A lot of them come in wanting to start a business, and they want to know, how do I start a business? Do I just get a business license? And there is a whole process that we have to take them through. But of course, I do provide information about the business license process of that and the sales tax if that applies to their business, and giving them the information that they need to do what they need to do in their businesses and in the city.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Jackson.
Councilman Box?
Ms. Jackson, thanks for coming. We're
Thank you.
glad that you're interested in interviewing with us for our city. You had said that you are currently a city clerk now, or just currently work for the city of Auburn?
I am a revenue accountant for the
Okay,
city
so-
of Auburn, yes.
Resident accountant, city of Auburn. Okay,
Yes.
very well. And how does that interface with your city clerk's job at the existing city you're in?
So I recommend certain items to the city council to be placed on the agenda, mainly dealing with ABC licenses for the city, as well as other information regarding the budget. And I give that information to the city clerk, and they prepare it for the agenda. We also have penalty waivers that if they are over a certain amount, they have to be approved by the city. And so that goes on the council agenda to be approved. There are certain other measures that council.
Very good. And do you have any accounts receivable or any invoicing or billing experience in, or any, I guess, any of those duties in the job you're performing now?
Yes, I perform those duties.
Okay. And really, the last question I have is, as far as operating systems, what operating systems are you proficient and familiar with in the job you're in now, or even outside that?
There are a lot of them. I may miss a few, but I'm familiar with Oracle, QuickBooks. We use Munis, Microsoft Dynamics, and Lotus Notes, PeopleSoft. I can't think of all of them, but
I
those are
understand.
the primary ones that I've used, as well as Microsoft Office for other administrative duties.
Very good. I think that's all I have, Council President.
Wilson?
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Jackson, for coming tonight, taking the time to come and talk to us. One of the questions I have is, we all have strengths and weaknesses as we perform our daily duties, but what would you consider one of your biggest weakness if you was to become the city clerk of Irondale?
I think one of my biggest weaknesses is that I'm very analytical. Some may think that I'm too analytical, but I like to present all sides of an issue and provide as much information as possible. So it might seem like information. I just like to provide it to understand.
Okay. I noticed on your resume, you stated you're a certified revenue examiner. So is that, as far as the classes or any conferences, well, not conferences, but to be certified, is this an annual recertification or every 6 months, or?
The annual recertification takes 40 hours. 8 of those hours I take the Altus, and the remaining hours I usually take the Alabama Society of CPAs, taking classes almost on a monthly basis to.
So, forgive my ignorance, but you said CPA, so you're a certified CPA, I guess.
No, I'm not a certified. I'm not a certified CPA. We can take classes through that organization.
Okay.
Classes that are regarding to accounting or anything dealing with that.
Sure. Just one question for me. I too can be a little over analytical. I know the detriment that that can come sometimes bring to the table. Give me an example, leave the names out obviously to protect the innocent, but a time where you had to boil down a complicated, potentially negative situation to either someone you worked with or possibly a citizen that was asking a question of you.
So sometimes they've already started. They don't know where they didn't license proper education. Set up a sales tax account in most cases. So what I have to do is just understand where they are, find out what it is that they're doing in their business, and then communicate with them what I think that they should do going forward. Making sure they get the business license, they set up the tax account, and they meet with the SBA or other departments in the city that can help them. And that usually will help resolve the problem.
And you guide them through that process, hold their hand?
Yes,
Perfect. Thank you very much.
you're welcome.
1 minute left for any follow-up questions.
Ms. Jackson, I just want to let you know that I'm delighted to personally meet you finally, and I want to thank you for your interest in filling this position.
Thank you.
I too want to thank you for your time, Ms. Jackson, and thank you for your interest in this position. We'll have someone see you out.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
This mic is hot.
Yeah. You ready to preach over there, aren't you?
Amen. Good evening. How are you doing tonight?
It's a pleasure to
Good
be here.
evening, Ms. Brown.
Thank you. I'm assuming you're Miss Brown. Is that
Yes.
accurate?
Yes, I am.
Fantastic, fantastic. Well, we've got about 10 minutes here, and there are 4 of us. We've got a gentleman that is missing, so feel free to take about 2 minutes to describe yourself, tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll take about 2 minutes to ask you some follow-up questions.
Okay. Would I like to introduce myself? I'm Benita Brown. I'd like you to know that I am a very driven person. I think that I lead from integrity. I have extensive background with acting as a liaison between various departments. And I also currently work as a senior accountant where I am responsible for bookkeeping, also responsible for bank reconciliations, making reports that we need to turn into the state every month. I have experience leading. I have experience dealing with the public, conflict resolution, and if you choose me for this position, I believe that I would be a great fit because I am able to just I'm sorry, I'm nervous. I'm able to act with precision in any given duty that I'm assigned to. And overall, I think that I would be a good fit because I'm ready and eager to learn new things and also bring the skills that I currently have to the city of Irondale in this position. And that's it.
That'll work. That'll do.
Very good, thank you.
Councilwoman Cuero?
Ms. Brown, I'm delighted to finally meet you in person.
Nice
And
to meet you.
welcome. And I want to thank you for your interest in this position. We've done phone interviews, and so I'm going to focus on the questions that I've asked of all the two prior candidates.
Yes.
And that is, your experience as, because I'm looking at it for the treasurer, you have given me information on the city clerk. The treasurer is my concern here. What is your experience in calculating and or taking care of bond payments of a municipality? And if you have it, can you please explain what you do?
In bond payments,
Yes, ma'am.
we, I have experience in cash management. I also have experience in receiving payments from municipalities and also giving payments to municipalities. As far as bond payments in particular, I don't have that kind of experience.
And do you have experience in preparing a municipality's annual budget?
No, I do not.
Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and defer to Councilman Box now.
Well, and thanks for coming, Ms. Brown.
Nice to meet you,
definitely appreciate
Councilman
being
Boggs.
here with us to give us
Thank
a
you.
talking, so just relax. We're all just people here. But real quickly, you did say that you work some with, I guess, receivables from
Yes.
some of the cities, and then also like payment processing for them, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And how does that dovetail into any administrative or needs, which, you know, as a treasurer, as Councilwoman Quaylar is alluding to, that's going to be a very important part of the position. But the city clerk part of being able to disseminate the information, what operating systems or tools do you have in that realm, or is that something you rely more on a team to take care of?
We do work as a team in the tax collector's office, but we do utilize the E-ring system, and what that does, what it does is we'll enter the information into the E-ring system, and it will determine what the millage for each parcel is. It really breaks down all of the calculations for us so that we're able to pull that information after we're able to once we're able to navigate through the software, we're able to pull up that information with ease.
Okay. So you're fairly comfortable using several different platforms then of information dissemination and also calculation or retention?
That's correct, because we use E-ring. There's also Munis that we use. I have experience in some of the GIS mapping software that's used at the city as well. All of that information we use to get, whatever the situation is, we use it to get an overall understanding of the big picture. And we're also able to disseminate that information into various reports that need to be sent to the state every month and every year as well.
Okay. Good. Thank you, Councilman.
Yes, good evening, Ms. Brown.
Yes, good evening.
Thank you for coming tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Question that I have is, you know, we all have strengths and weaknesses when it comes to performing our jobs. What would be one of your biggest challenges or weakness if you were chosen as the city clerk here in Irondale?
One of the things that I have been working on is I tend to be an introvert, and speaking in front of people may sometimes come off a little challenging for me.
I understand, Councilman, but we're just regular, we're just regular people now. We are.
But one of the things that I have done is I've taken speech classes to help me speak better and portray my thoughts better to everyone. And also, I've joined the Toastmasters, my local Toastmasters club, so that I'm able to speak better and feel more comfortable speaking in front of an audience, regardless of what the subject is. So
How long you been in Toastmasters? I'm in Toastmasters.
I've been in it for a year now,
Okay.
yes.
All right.
Birmingham City Classic Toastmasters?
Magic City.
Magic City, yes.
Right. Okay. Well, that's good. That's good.
Yes. So that would probably be my biggest challenge. It's something that I continue to work on vigorously so that it isn't a challenge for me anymore.
Right.
Yes.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
And greetings, and thank you for your interest in the position and your time tonight. One question, you mentioned conflict resolution previously. Can you kind of take us through a time maybe where you had to enter into some conflict resolution with either maybe a citizen that was going through some things or possibly a supervisor or a peer, and how that was handled and resolved?
Sure. There was a particular instance in the department that I currently work in, and there is a particular way that my new supervisor wanted me to, a particular format that my supervisor wanted me to turn in for bank reconciliations. And it wasn't a hard thing to do, but it would have, at the time, we were at the height of our tax collection season, and some of the things that she wanted me to do would have been more time consuming than it normally was. What I did was simply make a copy of the format of how she wanted me to do it, as opposed to what it is now, and also explain what changes would need to be made and how that would affect my time management with other deadlines that needed to be met. So after speaking with her about it, we were able to come up with a resolution where we could incorporate some of the ideas that she had wanted me to incorporate into the format, as well as keeping, without me having to spend a lot of time doing it. So, that's as far as with the supervisor. There's been times when I worked in the tag unit with Jefferson County where we would have specific, different customers that may come in and they don't realize that they have a fine that they have to pay in order to get their tags. They may get really upset, and they're wanting to take it out on the cashier that's in front of them.
Yeah.
And the cashier is really just doing their job, telling them I can't take your payment unless you pay the whole thing. There's been plenty of times that I've had to come and just explain it to the customer again, just to let them know it really isn't anything that we can do, but we want to help you in every way that we can. So after explaining to them and also making suggestions as to how they can go about resolving the issue, and even going as far sometimes as to even like speak with someone in Montgomery to get them to maybe extend the payment period so that this person could actually save money to make a payment without having to incur further fines and that kind of thing. So I've done that many times, and it really helps when the customer knows that they're being heard, and also that you genuinely want to help them. You're not just passing them along or just saying that we can't do anything for you. They really want to know that you're there for them and you're listening to them. You want to help them. And most times when I have gone through that process, we've had a smooth transition. You know, we've made it so that they could come back and make their payments and get their tags so that they can drive to work and continue life as it was before.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Before we let this young lady go, is there any final follow-up question?
No questions, but thank you so much, Ms. Brown, for coming and for your interest.
Thank you so much for you all.
Thanks again for coming.
Thank you very much. Mr. Frank will see you out. Thank you, Ms. Brown. Would you be nice nice enough to open us up, Councilman Box?
Sure, sure.
Okay, we'll wait for Frank to get back. That concludes our work session for the evening. We're now going to go ahead and transition into our special called council meeting. Councilman Box, if you'd be nice enough to open us up.
Everybody would join me for a moment. Creator, we thank you that you're allowing us to be here. Thank you that you've provided a pathway that we can join you again. Help us to understand and know the things you have us to do. Help us to serve the citizens here to the best of our ability. Give us your ability to do it where we fall short. And we pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. We'll go ahead and go into roll call. Councilman Cuellar? Councilwoman Cuellar? Here. Councilman Box?
I'm here.
Councilman Wilson?
Present.
And myself present. John Lennon is absent this evening. All right. So our one and only agenda item tonight, basically the members of the city council, the city needs to convene an executive session for two purposes. Number one, to discuss with the attorney the legal ramifications of legal options for controversies not yet being litigated, but immediately likely to be litigated. Number two, to discuss preliminary negotiations involving matters of trade or commerce in which the city of Irondale is in competition with other governmental entities in Alabama. And thirdly, to discuss the consideration the city council is willing to offer or accept when considering the purchase, sale, exchange, lease, or market value of real property. Ms. Danielson has provided the city council with a written statement that executive session is appropriate under Alabama Code 36-25A-7A3 and A7 to discuss pending litigation. Therefore, I need a motion to go into executive session.
I'll make a motion that we go into executive session as stated.
Councilman Wilson has made a motion.
Second.
All right, we have a second. Mr. Pennington, please conduct a roll call vote of this motion and record each councilperson's vote. Councilwoman Cuellar?
Yes.
Councilman Box?
Yes.
Councilman Wilson?
Yes.
And myself, yes. Thank you. Those present are advised that this body has voted to enter into executive session as required by law. Any deliberation between the members of this body relating to these issues will be conducted in an open meeting. This council will not reconvene after this executive session. The city council will now enter executive session.